Boo.
Boo, bitch.
I thought you were about to say booby.
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 Welcome
Welcome to a
to
special
special
episode of Two Tired
Yes,
Therapists.
the Halloween edition.
The Halloween edition.
Are you scared? Everyone should be scared. You have no idea what's coming.
I really don't.
This is
I have
gonna
a
be so
vague
good.
sense. I knew you wanted to plan this
Yes,
because you have a passion for
a certain person.
a certain person.
Right.
So
We'll chat about this in a minute.
we will. But even though it's spooky, it's still tired.
I know we are still two tired therapists.
We are still two tired therapists. Do you have a festive tired thing for you, Jackie?
You know, I don't know how controversial or brave this will sound,
Great.
but you know what I'm really tired of? You know, I'm tired of those ladies who, you know, wear the flannels and the boots
Oh.
and the leggings and like the wavy
Mhm.
fancy hair
Yeah.
and
The white girls.
the white
Mhm.
as a white girl. I
As a
guess.
white girl.
I'm tired of the white girls.
Well,
I don't do that.
Yeah.
When we're fall, we're it's sweats.
Right.
I'm not putting a fancy cute little
No.
outfit
A
on, doing my
vest.
hair.
No.
Nope. I'm showing up in my leggings, maybe
Mhm.
some boots, not a flannel.
Not like Ugg boots.
No.
Yeah.
And then I am also tired of Ugg boots a little bit.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a separate
So it's a
podcast
separate.
complaint.
We'll talk about that in a different episode.
But yeah, I'm tired of like the white girl fall look.
Yeah. Like pumpkin spice every day.
Yes.
Like latte.
Yes.
From the Starbucks.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I do like a pumpkin spice latte, but
Sure.
I don't like it from Starbucks.
But not every day, 3 times a day
Correct.
from August.
It tastes too
23rd.
You know what? It tastes too artificial now. I am tired
It
of that
does-
too.
Yeah, it's not as good.
It used to be good like 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was really good, and
Yeah.
then it's also a strange color in my opinion. It's like a weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's what I'm tired of.
Mhm.
What about you?
Mhm.
Fall.
I have to say, mine follows perhaps a similar vein of thought that
Okay.
mine may also be controversial, yet brave,
Okay.
in that putting out your dedecorations too early.
Ooh,
I think there is a
that
time
was
and a
churning in my
place.
head too.
Yeah, I think I have very strict rules on when things go up, and I think people have had them up for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like back in August, had them
Oh
up.
yeah, no.
It's not even fall. It's
No.
not even fall at that point.
No,
And so
I hate that.
I understand people gotta live their life, but I have things to say about
It's like the
it.
people who decorate for Christmas, like in October, and I'm
Right.
like, why do you do
What
that?
are you doing?
And-
Right.
And you skip a whole
Right.
holiday
A
time
whole
period.
holiday. Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm with
Yep.
you on that.
So
like
that's
that.
that's where I'm at. October 1st is when fall decorations go out. Thanksgiving is when Christmas comes out, and then
Love
usually
it.
for some reason Martin Luther King Jr.'s. I don't know if it's the day or the birthday, but that's when I put my Christmas decorations away.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. We usually try to wait until right before, like right when it turns fall, to put the fall stuff out.
Yeah.
Unless we have people coming over,
Right.
like you did last weekend, and we had our fall stuff out because I was like, we have to put the fall stuff out. I'm like, it looks sad, but yeah. And then for Christmas, we won't put out anything until after Thanksgiving. Like usually the day after Thanksgiving, we put up everything.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we about the first, sometime usually during the first or second week of January, we'll take everything down.
I like to keep my Christmas. I take anything Christmassy
Yeah,
down,
but
but
like
I
the
leave my
lights.
trees up because around here it gets dark at like 2:00,
It's gray.
and I need some joy.
I-
And so
Yep.
I will be working at home. I will pop my little lights on, and I will be good to go.
I love it.
Yep.
I'm
So-
here for it.
But we're not here. We're not talking about Christmas.
No,
We're here to
it's
talk about
spooky season.
Halloween.
Right.
So,
Okay, Suzanne.
Jackie, what are you going to even talk to us about today?
Well, you know who I'm going to talk about.
Yeah,
but
I
you
have
don't
no
know
idea what you're
I'm
gonna
to talk
I know.
about. So I will disclose I am not a huge horror movie fan. I do not like horror movies, but there is one horror franchise that I do love. I have
Mhm.
seen all of the old movies, not the new movies. And there's a man,
Mm,
and I just like to watch the old movies, and his name is Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
You know the Halloween
Yeah,
franchise?
I
Have you seen the old ones
bits
or
and
new
pieces.
ones?
I don't think I've ever watched one all the way through. I couldn't tell you the plot of
Oh.
any. I know.
Well, they're all the same plot essentially.
Oh, okay.
It's he.
He escapes
Yeah.
from a mental ward.
Yes, that's the very first one.
To
yes.
kill his sister.
No, So he killed his sister. He was about 6 years old, and he killed his sister, his older sister.
Oh,
That's why he went to the psych
sure,
hospital, whatever we
sure.
want to call it. It's not. It wasn't. This is like in the
Right, I
70s,
was
I
saying it
think,
was
the
the
first one.
70s. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he escapes and then
Okay.
goes on a murderous rampage to presumably kill his other sister, who doesn't
Okay,
who
other
doesn't realize
sister.
she's related to him until much later.
Oh.
Um,
How'd he know?
well, I mean, it's a sister. I don't know. They don't explain. Here's the thing: the movies. So I've watched all of them. I've actually watched all of them in succession in one night
Oh God.
before. Oh, this was a very long time ago, and there's not really a ton of, and people are probably going to disagree with this. There's not like a huge amount of plot points that follow.
Mhm.
Like the first two are in the same like 24 to 48 hour period. Halloween 3 has not, Michael Myers isn't even in it.
Oh.
They don't even talk about him, but it's supposed to be in that same sort of like week of the first two movies.
Because it's only
And
he
then,
only
like,
does it on Halloween,
Right. And then like years go by and like 4 and 5 happen, and then like 6 happens. And I think you get around to like H2O and like Resurrection. I have not seen the newer movies. Or who's the guy, Rob Zombie or whatever, who does the movies? I don't know.
Sure.
It's too gory. I can't do gore. And the like 70s, 80s, 90s movies aren't as terrible.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love Michael Myers.
Okay.
So I thought it would be really fun to discuss, because we've talking about this on the podcast, but we haven't actually talked about it yet. But since this is Halloween and spooky episode, is Michael Myers a psychopath?
Oh. Okay.
I know.
Let's do it.
So yes.
But I don't know a lot, so you'll have to give me the
Well,
tea.
and there's not. So if you've never seen the movies, you don't know this, but if you have seen him, Michael Myers never speaks in any of the movies. He never talks, never opens his mouth. You see him like maybe twice without the mask on.
Oh, you do? Okay.
The first movie, yeah, they take it off, and then there's one of the other movies, it gets ripped off too.
Not cute, I assume.
No.
Oh.
Not the first one. The first one is, you're like, holy, well, you think he's dead, and he like rises up and his mask's off, and he like weirdly turns like his head, and
Oh.
you're like, what the hell? So he never speaks, so we don't really know a ton of this stuff. So I'm going off of what you see in the movies. So, like we said, killed his sister when he was 6, went to a psych
Okay.
ward, breaks out. That's the first movie. So there's so many different characterizations of him. There's so many. I mean, like, you could Google him. You could go on his Wikipedia, which is where I got most of this information, because I like to do research. And they talk, like, there's just so many. And a lot of people have studied what he is. So,
Okay.
but he's frequently described as like the boogeyman and like the embodiment of evil. That's like the most common
Okay.
phrases to describe him. A lot of people say that they think he's supernatural, because
Yeah.
I mean, I won't, when I watched all the movies, I counted, and I kept track at the time, and now I don't remember, but he gets shot, I think, over like 100 times. He gets blown up.
Yeah.
He never dies.
Where does he go between Halloweens too?
We don't know. Yeah, because he only pretty much strikes on Halloween. I don't know. In one of the movies, he gets like blown up and like blasted into a river, and like some random guy picks him up to his like shack in the middle of the woods, and then I think he kills that guy who like took care of him. Like a jerk.
Rude.
It was kind of. I was like, when I watched the movie, I was like, why would you kill this guy? He like took care of you, but he did.
Well,
I don't know.
psychopath.
He just kind of like disappears and just watches, and he's kind of like a little stalkery. He kind
Yeah.
of watches in the bushes.
Sure.
Stairs. Fun fact though, about the Michael Myers mask, if you've never seen it, it is actually William Shatner's face, just painted all white.
Oh.
Yeah, at the time they made the first movie, Star Trek was really big out at that point. William Shatner was a huge star, so they grabbed a William Shatner mask and painted it all white. If you look at it close enough, and you look, there's a meme out there where you can see the mask and the Michael Myers one, and it's William Shatner.
Huh. I'll have to
Not
look
the
at
hair,
that.
because the hair is a little
Right.
rough, but
a little rough.
so
Interesting.
I thought,
Okay.
so was he a psychopath? We'll find out. So we're going to talk about Hare's psychopathy checklist. There's 20 points, or there's 20 different like domains, I guess is probably a better way to say that. And the PCL 20 is scored on a 3-point scale. So 0 is none, 1 is a partial match, and 2 is a reasonably good match. And so if you get at least 30 points, it indicates that you're a psychopath.
Okay.
And so some notable people that we have sort of talked about on the podcast, which I think I don't remember exactly what his score was, but like Ted Bundy almost got like 100% score. I think he got like a 39 out of 40, your favorite.
Well.
So there are, so I figured I would talk about the domains that I think Michael Myers would score at least at 2 on.
Yeah. Okay.
Because again, he doesn't talk. You don't really know much. I mean, you kind of know about his backstory, but there's not a lot said about it. So the first one that I feel like he would meet would be the need for stimulation and prone to boredom. Because this
Okay.
man just stalks people
That's true.
on Halloween.
Doesn't really have a hobby.
Well, I mean, I guess the hobby is killing.
Yeah.
If you think about it. But the body count of his is actually, I'm not exactly sure how many people he kills over all the movies. That's a lot.
Mm.
So I think that would probably indicate, he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't have a pro-social hobby, let's call it,
Yeah,
a positive one.
Right.
But we're just killing. So I think I would argue that he's a bored man just waiting to go.
What can you tell me? Just again, since I've not seen it, like, what's he killing all these people for? Because he's trying to get to the sister.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the sister. I don't know. Like, they never really explain why he's so murderous. They just say this is just part of who he is. He's like a murderous. He killed his sister when he was 6, so he's obviously like an evil
do we know
little
why?
kid.
He just felt like it.
No, it didn't say why he
Okay.
killed her. He just did.
Anything
I'm
else?
sure there's probably someone's done like a deep dive and
okay.
wrote something out, but no, there's not like
Nothing
an
about his
obvious reason.
parents, what they were like.
No,
No. Okay.
nothing. We don't know any
You
of
know
that. So that some of
anything.
this checklist like talks about your early life, and
Okay, that's
I don't
what I figured.
yeah
was
I don't
coming,
talk about
so-
it. Yeah, because I'm not sure. The other one I will say is he checks as definitely as a 2 is the lack of remorse or guilt.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, he wears a mask, so you can't even see his face.
Yeah, you can't tell, but
You think he's? I don't think he's.
no, I don't think. No.
This man will kill anybody.
I think at some point, if he was remorseful, he would probably stop.
Yeah, and he doesn't, and he keeps it going. Especially it's in Pursuit of the Sister. There's H2O is the movie where they come face to face for the first time, I think, since the second movie. And he just she at the time, I think she runs like a private school that's like in the middle of California. This man like hitchhikes.
Oh.
He like gets all the way out there, and then they close the school, but of course there's a bunch of teenagers who are still on the campus, and one of them is the son of his sister, like it'd be his nephew. And I mean, Michael just he pissed, he big mad.
Did he kill the people that like he hitchhiked?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He like stopped at a rest stop, and like if I remember correctly, it's like a little girl like was in the bathroom, and like he was walking through the stalls like looking, and he like looks at her. They don't show. I assume he killed her, but he killed the mom. So I mean, unless he left the kid to whatever, but no, Michael gives no Fs. He does not care. He will kill you.
That also seems almost maybe a little sociopathic to kill someone who's taking you where you're supposed to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not really thinking.
Right.
You're just killed.
Yeah,
It's like, I have to kill.
yeah, it's time. We got to murder.
It's time. We gotta murder.
The other one that I would say he scores a 2 on is shallow affect. Because
Well,
again, we can't see him, but in the times that you do see him, he does not look to be,
No laughing.
no laughing, no sadness, no, there's nothing. Face isn't the greatest, at least in the 2 times that you see it, but yeah. The other one I think that he checks too, and some of these are really related, is the callousness and lack of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the movies, he gets his niece, and he like kind of traps her. She doesn't die in that movie. She's a kid in the movie. He like traps her in a coffin and like kind of fucks with her, like messes with her and like makes her scared, and like she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he like, I think she pulls his mask off or something like that, and he doesn't look any certain way. He kind of looks sad, but it doesn't look like it's a real sad. But yeah, he like. He in the first movie he kills like a couple that's like having sex, and he like hangs one of them, like so like the other would find them.
Oh my
and then like he kills like and most of the people that he kills in the first movie are his sister's friends. Jamie Lee Curtis is his sister, by the way, great actress.
Right.
But yeah, he kills her friends, and like he's just dragging bodies everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and he likes
he like positions bodies. He actually in the first movie too, he pulled I think it was his sister's grave and put it on like a bed under it, like next to a dead person. It was
so
weird.
these are very like personal.
Oh yes.
Very personal crimes. He's like stabbing people, and
he's trying to he's trying to scare the sister, and so he starts killing her friend. I mean, he literally kills all of her friends in the first.
So he's very like vindictive.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. Another one I would say that he definitely hits a 2 on is poor behavioral controls.
Oh,
whatever Michael wants, Michael gets.
Which is people dead.
Right.
Dead people.
And he yeah, he gets angry if like somebody won't move out of his way. He'll like smack him or he'll kill him. Like, I mean, he literally gives no shits. I
Smack
mean,
him.
you gotta admire that. You
Yeah,
just,
yeah, he
I
knows
mean,
what
I'm
he
not saying it's
wants.
like a good thing and it's
Sure.
pro-social,
There's
but
some determination. Yeah.
well, yeah, and
Hmm.
sometimes when people get like, even if they're not meaning to get in his way, like he will still kill them, even though they have nothing to do with it.
Mm.
But yeah, he's got some very poor behavioral controls. Another one that I think he does score on with our limited information about his childhood is early behavioral problems.
Yeah, you know, murdering your sister.
Right? You think that would
How
go?
old was he?
He was 6. I think the
6.
sister was a teenager, maybe 15 or
How did
16.
he murder her?
He like stabbed her.
Oh my
The
god.
first scene of the first movie, he's like in a clown costume. It's very
Oh
and
lord.
he's got the knife and he's like, and they're all, everybody's screaming. And I think Jamie Lee Curtis's character is younger than he is
Mm.
because I think he's her older brother.
Where was she at in all this when he was a kid?
I mean, she was young, so I don't know if she was a baby. The storyline I believe goes that she gets adopted by like a different family. So like, because they were concerned that Michael was going to try to kill her, and obviously,
Well,
spoiler, I've
yeah.
already said it multiple times.
Right.
But he goes for her, so she gets adopted into a different family, not the biological
Oh.
family.
So that's
And she doesn't realize who she is until like the first movie.
so she must have been like a baby.
Yeah, I think she was like
So he
under
probably
2.
knew about her.
Yeah, so yeah, he remembered her in that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I know
okay.
we're the psyche of Michael Myers.
I
is
love
just
it.
Deep dive.
That's what I'm trying to be. Okay, what's the motivation? What's
Right.
the motivation?
Right. Another one that I think you could probably make an argument to score a 2 on, and I included it just because I think it is worth it, is promiscuous sexual behavior.
Oh,
I think so.
does he do the dirty?
No,
Oh, okay.
but I don't remember which movie it is because they all kind of blend together after a while. But there's kind of like the notion that he murders women as part of like a repressed sexual fantasy.
Okay.
And like I said, he frequently, well, I don't say frequently, but there are multiple scenes where he kills people who are in the middle of having sex, and he's watching them like have sex, and then he
Oh.
kills them.
Maybe there's a
Um,
little impotence there. Mm.
Freudian. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's behavioral science. That behavioral analysis and criminology is
Well,
based when they use a knife for some sort of phallic object that's considered. I'm serious. I'm
I know,
dead
but
serious.
it's been a while since I've heard it. Well, I thought it was interesting because you remember when we talked about mixing sex with violence. That's the most
Yes,
dangerous
the
person.
most dangerous person.
So
Maybe he's getting off.
I don't know that promiscuous is maybe the most correct word for it, but there's some
Yeah.
sexual element to all of
Yeah.
his murderous rages. So I thought I'm like I would give him a 2 on that.
Yeah.
I would. Next one is lack of long-term realistic goals. I thought that was a 2. Murder, you can't just murder people.
Yeah, you can't just murder people
It would be
to get to your
I mean, I
sister
guess
to murder her.
well, I'm glad you're here because we could discuss this out loud. Do you think murdering his other sister, Jamie Lee Curtis, is a long-term realistic goal?
I mean, it is long term.
It is.
'Cause-
It's 20 years. H2O
Yeah, I
is
mean,
Halloween 20
It
years
can
later.
be hard to murder someone, so you
Right.
got to take some planning.
Right.
I mean, I guess it's realistic in the fact that he can do it,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not. He can do it.
This is where sometimes when I worked,
Does it have consequences?
sure.
Sure.
But for him,
Well, no, not for
because
him.
he doesn't get arrested.
He doesn't die.
There is one psychiatrist that worked with him as a kid that is in most of these movies until the actor, I think himself, ended up passing away in real life. Dr. Loomis is the doctor who,
Loomis.
yeah, I like him a lot. He is the one who like warns the town that Michael's coming, kind of like the Paul Revere.
The British
of,
are
like,
coming.
yeah,
The
it's
British
kinda
are
like
coming.
that.
Yeah.
He's like
Sure.
he's coming, and like when they start tracking him in the first movie, he's like he's been here, he's been here, he's been here, he's here. Like we got to get
Oh
him.
my gosh.
So yeah, I think.
I mean, it's
But he has one long-term goal. That's it. There's
right.
no
And
other.
it's like you said, it's
and-
not pro-social. It's not like it's not going to better his life necessarily, and it's going to interfere with a lot of people's lives.
Right.
So
right.
I think you could go. I think you could give him a 2, and for what this is probably.
Right. The next one is impulsivity.
Yep.
I don't think we need.
I don't think we
probably
need to-
discuss it.
Right. Just killing people left and right.
Right.
Does
although
he ever not kill someone? Like,
I think there are like when his niece is a kid and he has the opportunity to kill her, like he terrorizes her. I think it's movies 4 and 5. And then there's one like I think 6 is when it's like 10 years later. He does end up killing her like as an adult. He doesn't kill her as a child. So they never show him killing anybody like under the age of probably I would say 16 or 17
yeah.
in
Well,
the
it was
movies.
also the 70s too.
Yeah, and I think the 4, 5, and 6 were like late 80s, 90s time frame. H2O is I think from like 1998 or 1999 or something like that. And then Resurrection is like early 2000 because that one is a reality show. Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks are in it. It's actually not a bad movie. But they go back to his house and they do like an overnight, like you have to stay in Michael Myers' house for a night as a reality.
Kind of like a Blair Witch Project.
Right, but he's in the
type of
house
thing.
and he's pissed because you're
Because you're in his house.
Yeah.
He has goals.
Yeah, he gets very
Does he?
angry about that.
Did you watch like Freddy versus Jason?
No.
Oh wait, that's not even him.
That's not him. But
Never mind.
Honestly though, if there was a movie with like Michael versus
Did he do that? He didn't do that, did he?
No.
No.
I would watch that movie though.
That would be interesting.
I've also watched the Jason movies. I don't like them though. Next one, I would say Irresponsibility.
Yeah, yeah.
Murdering in broad daylight.
Yeah.
I mean, most of his murdering is at night, but he does murder in broad daylight.
Well, like I said, like you're hitchhiking, you need to get somewhere, and then you kill the person that's doing it. That's really irresponsible.
Right. The other one I would say is failure to accept responsibility. I mean, he doesn't talk, so we don't know.
We're assuming.
But I'm gonna say he probably doesn't accept that.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if he would. Like, if you were like, you killed those people, would he be like, no, I didn't?
Well, I feel like the reason I thought this could be a good one to give to him is because he never gets arrested. I mean, they know it's him. Like, they all, the cops.
Right.
I mean, in one of the movies, I think it's 4 maybe, like, sheriff, like, they all know it's him. They're, like, in this house. And he's, like, outside the house just, like, circling, like, watching them. And he ends up killing, like, everybody in the house eventually. I think he does. But, I mean, he never like actually like, I mean, he never speaks to say like, I do all these things, but
Right.
I don't know. I don't know that he would accept responsibility. I feel like if he could talk,
Or he just wouldn't care.
Right. I feel like he wouldn't care, or he'd say like, sorry, I was trying to get to my sis and you were in my way. Bye. Like, I mean, that's kind of how I think he would talk.
Bye.
I wonder, growing up we could have another episode. I wonder growing up in a psych hospital, how that.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help. Didn't help.
Right.
And they probably gave him drugs. It was the 70s.
Right.
They were giving you like, what, first generation, like
the rough
psychotics.
ones. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they probably drugged the crap out of him. Last one that I think he would score a 2 on would be juvenile delinquency. Again, murdering your sister as a 6-year-old.
Right.
And I also think spending 15 years potentially of your life in a psych ward
can't be good.
Right.
What do they say? What, just like, because he's in that psych ward for how long?
15 years, I think, is what the first movie.
So
he's 20. He's 21 when he gets
21
out.
when he gets out. What? Why all of a sudden?
It's
maybe he had his first psychotic
because
break.
I think they describe it as the 15-year anniversary of the murder of his older sister. So he like breaks out. I don't know.
Why 15 years?
I don't know. They don't ever explain.
If he's in his 20s, maybe he had his first psychotic break.
Maybe. I don't disagree. I wish he talked, or I wish there was more like.
Maybe we can have him on the pod. Maybe we can talk to him. Michael, tell us.
Well, yeah. Oh my God, Michael.
May I call you Mike?
Oh,
Mike, tell
are you
us.
okay? Blink twice if you're not okay. I don't know. But so if you total up all of those, that's 24 out of 40. So he's pretty close.
He's pretty close.
I'm only including 2. Is there's other domains that I think maybe he could be like a 1 or a 2. I mean, I think definitely we could make an argument that he's probably a psychopath. Cunning and manipulative was one that I didn't include because he doesn't talk, and that's more of like I can manipulate you into a situation. Pathological lying is one that I also didn't include because you don't really he doesn't talk, so you can't say that. Glib and superficial charm, grandiose sense of self-worth. Again, he doesn't talk, so you can't. So I don't think he has any of that. One that I kind of thought of that I didn't include was like parasitic lifestyle, which means like you kind of leech off of other people and you kind of, and I thought maybe because he does do that, but I didn't include it because I think you could score him a 1 on that, so probably that put him up to
we don't know
25.
what he does for the rest of the year,
right? Another one that he definitely doesn't have is many short-term marital relationships just general relationships. He doesn't. Another one that I didn't include was the revocation of conditional release. So they didn't let him leave that psych hospital. Like he escaped. So there's not. And then criminal versatility. he's not very he's not very versatile in
Yeah, he's
his
kind of just
crimes.
murdering
It's
people.
murder slash B&E. We're just doing breaking in and entering.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think he's probably pretty darn close.
yeah. Do you think? Could you argue maybe he's a sociopath?
See, I was when I was in grad school, because I did a forensic program, so we did like all of these things. I was always told that sociopathy doesn't exist. Like you're either a psychopath or you're not.
Oh,
I do think in some ways though it does exist, because in my opinion, in my personal and professional opinion, psychopathy in some ways can be like I think of somebody who is a psychopath as like violent, and sociopath you don't necessarily have to be violent for that. But when I took all my classes, they were like
interesting.
a sociopath doesn't really exist.
I always
Although I know a lot of people, you know,
I always understood it as psychopath is your manipulative, like charming, like the Ted Bundys of the world, who, or John Wayne Gacy's, who are these charismatic people but are murdering on the side, like have this dark
Yeah.
side, where sociopaths are more of your Charles Manson,
Yes.
like they can't control it. It's just like chaos, confusion,
Yes.
madness.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
I thought.
I actually don't think it's like I think they are.
Or maybe
out
it's the
there.
same. Maybe
But yeah,
there's-
but they like I remember my professors would say like it's pretty much the same thing. Like all of the things that are like make a sociopath, make a psychopath. It's just to a lesser extent.
so maybe so that they would say Charles Manson is a psychopath,
Yeah.
but just maybe like disorganized
right,
or
right.
something.
Like I said, Ted Bundy scored a 39 out of 40 on the P.
Good for him.
Yeah, they on the Harris
Great job,
checklist.
Ted. Teddy.
Jeffrey Dahmer got a 22, so not quite there.
Oh.
A little low for Jeffrey.
Interesting.
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, he was a 31 out of 40, which that is 100% accurate.
Yeah, that seems
people
right.
didn't watch that
Oh my god, have
documentary.
you seen that TikTok where people have you
Not the
seen
Tic
this?
Tac.
Well, I don't know if it's a TikTok. But you know I watch it on Facebook, so it's probably not a TikTok.
Yeah.
But they show a picture of Richard Ramirez and like this other random actor to people, and they say, "Who do you trust more?"
Oh, and they choose Richard Ramirez.
Absolutely, because the other guy, like I don't know, I think he was like Indian and like balding. They're like, "Well, he doesn't have hair." And then they were like, "Do you know who this other guy is?" And they
What?
were like, "No." And they're like, "That's Richard Ramirez. He
He,
killed
like-
like 40 people or something."
Yeah, he did.
And they were like, "Oh,
stomped people's heads in and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
that's terrible.
you know,
Well,
yeah, yeah."
so Michael Myers, he's
Michael
pretty darn
Myers.
close. Well, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
We can talk about a little bit of treatment of psychopaths.
what you would do.
Because I can talk a little bit about my personal experience with that
Mm-hmm.
and a fun Halloween edition
Yeah,
of Fetch or Flop. So we will be right back. Treatment for psychopaths.
Treatment for psych. This is
What do
you.
you, what do
I
you
don't
think?
know.
What do you
I
think?
mean, it's got to be those social skills.
You have to be careful with social
well, that's true
skills.
because they're manipulative.
So I worked with two that I 100% think could have been diagnosed as a psychopath. And one of them, he was very, I don't know, the best way I can describe him, he was very, this is going to sound so odd. He was very like moral, but like morality bent in for his
yes.
thoughts and values and all of that. It's really hard because like you said, they can be very manipulative. And I was a young clinician at the time. This was like one of my first clients when I was at the prison. And none of the other staff wanted to work with him. And I, suffice it to say, was like, oh, shitballs. And he and I got along really pretty well. We had one little blip on the radar one time because he tried to try me, and he found out real quick how that goes for you when you try to try. And we got along really, really well. He was a very dangerous guy, though. They did not want to see him outside of restraints and cuffs because they were concerned about him. But he eventually did get out, and I never thought he was going to do anything to like me or anybody else. But it was hard because, he would talk. He was interesting. I mean, he felt like the world had sort of wronged him in some ways when he had done some pretty heinous crimes. And he just felt like, nobody cared about him. But there was no, when I tell you there was no affect, I mean, it was just like no affect.
Wow.
And I had to be really careful because I didn't want to, like, you have to be careful about teaching them social skills and like how to read social interactions. I mean,
Right.
they're pretty good at that anyway, but like, you don't want to teach them how to mimic emotions, which
Right.
I think at one point I was like, I was sitting there and I was talking to him and I don't remember what we were talking about. And I was like, I'm kind of teaching him how to read emotions and that's going to make him even more dangerous. So I was like, I walked back on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. The other one, also a very dangerous guy, a little more likable, I would say, in some ways, and a little bit more, I don't know, congenial when you
Mm-hmm.
talk to him. But again, same sort of thing. Like the affect, he had no remorse, no
Right.
like, didn't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
Do you like kill people?
yeah,
Yeah.
and he, like, the second one was on my caseload much later. Like I'd been working for a couple years and I knew of him because he'd been at our facility. And he, like, the first time I met him, he's like, I was holding like a pen or something in my hand or something. I don't remember. And he looked at me and he goes, I could put that right through your eyeball.
Cool.
And I said, that's nice.
That's
Thanks.
nice.
That's literally what I said. I was like, that's nice.
Great.
I said, are you? And he said, no. And I said, why would you even say that? What's the point of that?
And what's the point of that?
Well, I just want you to know. And I'm like, do you want me to be scared of you? Like, what's your angle? And I think he was shocked because I
called it out.
Yeah, I was like, why would you say that? Like, what's the? I mean, what was the point of that?
What was
Because the point was to scare me, but
Right.
it didn't. And again, I got along really well with him too. It was just he was very angry when I was leaving, and I told him I was leaving. He was very angry, and wouldn't talk to me at all. My last couple of weeks, and stayed in bed. And that was his, like, little protest.
Sure.
I don't know.
For him.
But I mean, it's hard because you really have to balance, like, I tried to focus a lot with them on, like, their behaviors. And again, but both of them are pretty, like, they were almost model offenders in some ways. Like, they rarely got in trouble. And when they did, it was not, like, major stuff. But they like to control. They like to manipulate.
Right.
They
So
like
they probably
to do
had
all
everyone
that.
wrapped around their finger.
Yeah, they did. Especially the second one that I worked with, he was very well liked by a lot of the staff. But it's hard because you can't really, I won't say you can't really do anything with them, but you have to be really careful about what you do talk to them about. And so, like I said, I would try to do a lot of behavioral, like, just like, you can't scream your head off at this other person. Like, that's not good. And some of them, I mean, a lot of the guys in the prison, like, I mean, even just talking to them as like a, another, like, human to human was good enough in some ways. And so I try to do that with them. But yeah, I never committed to anything with any of them. I never, promised them anything because they would get very
sure.
and I mean, all my guys knew that I didn't do that as a rule, but
Right.
they would try. And they tried a lot, but yeah, the manipulating thing, they always think, they can. And then when you're a lady and you work in a prison, they think you're stupid. So that was fun too.
Little did they know.
Little did they know. They didn't know who they were going to get. And they got me.
Got you.
And then they got mad.
Whoopsies.
But so, I mean, but yeah, I can't say that there's any one, because, like, psychopathy is almost like it's an offshoot of antisocial personality disorder. And there's not a ton.
Yeah, they're not coming into your office going.
Right. And it's not like and none of these people came in voluntarily. I mean, I was seeing them because I had to. It's not like they were coming into me at like a private practice. And,
right. Like, I think I'm a psychopath.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you treat Mike? If let's say Mike did come in your office, he'd look, Mr.
Well, if he was he'd probably be in prison at that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's say he's in prison then, and he says, "Yeah, I need to work on this. I just want to kill people, and that's it. That's all I want. I just want to kill people."
I think I would ask, like, why or where, like, is it everyone? Is it one person? Where,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, killing, anger isn't a primary emotion. It's a secondary
It's a
emotion.
What's under
So
that?
yeah, right. So like, what are
Let's get out a feelings wheel and look at that, Mike.
right?
Yeah.
As he like starts getting the shank ready,
Right.
like starts making a shank out of like something on the
Right.
wall.
Right.
Yeah, I think I would honestly. I think I would probably ask like, well, like why?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not you're not supposed to ask like why in therapy. Did you ever learn that when you were in grad school?
No, that sounds stupid.
I
feel like
I was
I
was
feel
told
like
you
that's
don't
all
ask.
you should ask.
I was just told don't ask why because it sounds judgmental, and I never use that really because I would say why because I don't understand, so you got to help me understand like why do you do that?
I mean, yeah. If you're like, well, why? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty annoying. But if you're like, oh, why? Why is
So
that?
I would ask why. I would ask if it's a person. I would ask when the feelings come up the most to see if they can
Oh.
like track. Is it like when
Okay, a little frequency talk.
right?
Yeah. Duration.
Yeah, frequency, intensity, duration. Rated on a scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale from 1 to 10.
10 being the most. 10 being the most. You're about to stab me in the chest.
Right.
And
Where's
you'll
that
never, you'll never do that.
He's
Where are you
like-
at?
he's
He's like,
like-
I'm at an 8 right now.
He's like 100. I've actually already stabbed you. So.
It's like bleeding out there. Yeah, I think a lot of it would just be like trying to figure out like the triggers, I guess, and then working
Okay.
with that. It's hard though because honestly though, I'll tell you this. When I had guys on my caseload who would threaten and all, you can't really do any sort of like work in the moment that
Right.
they're threatening. But if he was like calm and said, "Oh,
Right.
I think there's a little bit more work to be done." I definitely would talk. I would ask about. I don't want to say childhood. I would ask about past trauma, though. I mean,
Sure.
there's probably something to be said about that. And then trying to get the focus to be like, what do you like? Because like if you kill
Yeah.
somebody, you're going to continue losing privileges, or you're going to continue,
Okay.
being, because I would assume. I mean, knowing what I know, I mean, he would probably be in a room with almost nothing in it,
Right.
Because they wouldn't trust him.
Right.
And so I think I would say, well, what do you do? What do you like, or what do you want? And try to work with that. So if it was like, I really want to be able to have paper and a pen so I can draw, I'd be like, okay, so if you want that, like, you can't be actively saying you're going to kill somebody. And I always, my favorite thing to tell the guys is, you can have the thoughts, but you can't act on it.
Absolutely.
So you can want to kill me right now,
That's
but
fine.
you can't stab me.
Right.
Like,
Can't actually do it.
in some ways, and people may judge me for this, sometimes you can have the thought, you don't have to verbalize the thought.
No.
Like, you can be mad, like you and I get mad as much as the next person, but like,
Sure.
I'm not gonna go and say I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Right. No, we don't say it. No.
Right,
No.
and that's
right.
what I used to do with all my.
No,
I'm like,
no,
you
no,
don't
no.
say that. I'm like, you can't say that. I'm like,
we
you
don't
say
write
that.
it. We don't write it down.
Right.
We don't write it down. We don't have a kill list. We don't do that either.
Right. We don't. Yeah, we don't do that. And so, and usually what I would tell the guys is, I'm like, if you really are that angry about something, like, write a letter and then rip it up,
Yeah. Burn
or like
it.
flush it in your
Right,
toilet, or like
right,
whatever.
right.
Don't send it. They're like, I want to send this. And
No.
don't send that letter.
No,
It's
no,
okay.
No.
It's okay. We don't have to go there. But I would always say, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
I don't want to hear it. Like,
Right.
you're mad. I don't want to hear that you're going to kill me.
Right.
Just say, I'm really upset with you right now. Please leave my door. And some of them could really do that. And I'm like, okay, bye. Like,
Yeah.
but you can't, when somebody's actively like, I'm going to kill you.
No,
it's not
because you have
happening.
to have that safety in that
Yeah.
therapeutic alliance,
Yeah. And
for you and the patient.
Yeah. And I'm sure trust is a big part of it
And-
too.
mhm.
So I wouldn't want, I don't miss it sometimes, but
So
it's
you
fun.
would with little Mike, you would be figuring out the root of what's going on, but also
Yeah.
maybe doing a little. Okay, what other goals do you have?
Yeah.
Okay, you want some paper? Let's work on
Yeah.
that. Doing a little behavioral.
I'll give you a crayon and
Yeah.
a piece of paper.
Kind of like, okay, so if you kill someone, do you think that's going to take you towards your goal
Yeah,
or
pretty
away from
much.
your goal?
Yeah, pretty much like,
Yeah.
act. DBT is a big thing too that you can use.
Oh,
with,
for the
like,
emotional regulation.
Yeah, and then effective,
Mhm.
interpersonal, all of that stuff, effective communication,
little
interpersonal.
mindfulness, have them doing some guided meditation.
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, and that's primarily what is probably the best thing in some of those ways.
Mhm.
Distress tolerance is like the best one, but yeah, that's where it's gonna be at
Right.
for
Right.
little Mike.
Little Mike. Wow.
So upset. I wonder why he's so just.
I know. I wish
what's
they had
the-
more backstory on
I mean,
him.
I didn't research it enough, but I'm sure there are people who've written like scholarly papers.
Do you think it's legit though, or do you think
It's a
they
character.
just made it up?
I mean, it's a character in my opinion. Like, it's never going to be exactly what you want it to be. I think, and in spooky season fashion, I feel like he is kind of like a supernatural being
Yeah,
who
I
gets
think so
shot like
too.
100 times and
Yeah.
blown up a bunch and you
Right.
don't die.
Right.
At one point, I think he gets burned too, and he's like totally fine. I think his
Yeah.
face shows burns, but like he's not completely burned, and he wears the same outfit all the time and the same mask.
Do you think it's like the same body he's in, or is it like? Do you think he's like a demon or something?
That's what I mean. That's what kind of the Wikipedia. If you read his Wikipedia page, they talk about like, is he like the devil? Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. To be determined.
TBD. But that's
Wow.
that's Michael Myers.
That's Michael Myers. Well,
Kind of a psychopath.
I hope he doesn't visit this house
Me
tonight.
Right.
Ooh, spooky.
I would do the song, but copyright.
I don't even know what the song is. Wow.
So, it's Fetch or Flop time.
It's Fetch or Flop, and we're gonna
Halloween
Yeah,
edition.
we're doing. I did a Halloween in fall.
Adjacent.
Yeah, in fall.
We'll go
too,
with it.
Just to. I came up with just a couple. So the first one, candy corn.
Flop.
Flop. Yeah.
can't.
No, I don't. It's gross.
It's too.
None of it.
I don't know.
No.
It's too sugary. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I also don't like the color. I don't like
Nope.
I don't like orange.
I don't like anything about it.
Yeah.
Not one thing.
No.
Yeah, I have to go with flop as well.
Flop.
So the next one is like I put hot girl costumes, but this is really like sexy anything. Like things that are not meant to be sexy that are like a sexy nun
A
or
sexy basketball.
a sexy basketball or like a sexy like
Oh, gosh.
Egyptian, like that
Oh.
kind of stuff. Where it's like you're not wearing any clothing, male or female. I put hot girl, but like men
hot
do
person.
this too.
Hot person costume.
Hot person costume. Like men do this too.
I'm gonna say flop.
Yeah.
I think it's not creative.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
have
ever go to
with
like
flop,
Halloween
too.
parties in college?
I did, and I did this. I was a hot cop once, and I just wore like little
You have
tiny, probably somewhere.
Oh, good.
I wore just tiny little short shorts that were like blue,
Aw.
and like it was like a cop vest, and that was it. Like of course the vest was like open, like I didn't have a shirt
Right.
on.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure
I would love to see pictures someday.
I'll find them.
I've never dressed up as
My-
a sexy anything.
My boyfriend at the
so-
time was a sexy sailor, and he just wore white short shorts
Oh, okay.
and a sailor hat. Literally nothing else. Literally no shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. I've never, but
Right.
I've never done that. So I
Yeah.
don't do hot person costumes.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't.
either.
I'm gonna say something that probably a lot of people won't agree with. I do not. I don't like dressing up for Halloween. I never have. Even as
Yeah.
a kid, I didn't like it.
Mm-mm.
So I didn't partake in any of that. So that's a
Really?
flop
What's the
for
last
me.
thing you dressed up as?
If people are fans of The Office, what I really like to
God.
do is I like to write book on my face because in a deleted scene of an Office episode, Jim writes book on his face like for Facebook, like
Oh.
haha.
Mhm.
And then somebody's like, he's like, I'm the social media site known as Bookface because somebody makes fun of him. They're like, what are you, Bookface? Like they don't get the it's funny.
Oh, that's why you say book face.
Yeah, Bookface.
Oh.
So the last time I really dressed up, I wrote
Hmm.
book on my Justin wrote book on my face with eyeliner, and it was very hard to get off. Never again.
Never again. Next one, Hocus Pocus.
I'm gonna go fine because I've seen the movie one time
Oh my
like
gosh.
15 years ago, and I've never seen it again.
Oh. Here
I love the actresses that are in it. I love Bette Midler. I love
Mhm.
oh my gosh, what's her name? Kathy and Jimmy.
Kathy and Jimmy.
And then
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker is fine to me,
Yeah,
but I
she's
like
fine.
those two.
Oh.
It's been a very long time. I think I was
See-
like maybe between the ages of 10 and
Oh my
14
gosh.
maybe. the
You
last
gotta
time I
get it
watched
together. You gotta get it because it's fetch for me. It's
yeah.
fetch because so
Is it set in Salem?
it's set in Salem.
Okay, been there.
And so every October 1st is when I usually put my Halloween
Yes,
decorations.
that's-
I put on
learned.
Hocus Pocus and I watch it, and then I usually watch it several times throughout the year.
I love it.
And yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 is
Ooh,
out, so
fancy.
they did a sequel. So
Love
I
it.
love it. It's fetch.
Where can you watch it, or do you own the DVD?
I do own a DVD, but it's on Disney.
Oh!
Because it's a Disney movie.
Oh, okay, so it's
yeah,
Disney.
it's a Disney movie.
I guess plug for Disney. if
Plug
they-
for Disney.
if they
Disney
wanna
Plus.
sponsor us.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor us, Disney Plus.
They listen to us and they're like, absolutely not. But
Absolutely not. The next one, haunted houses, both real and fake. So like an actual like this place is haunted, or like they just ones they set up every year. And it's like
Flop.
actors. Yeah, a flop.
Flop. I will never.
No.
I will never do a haunted house. Especially if they touch you. Hell
No, no,
fucking
no.
no.
Mm-mm.
Hell no.
I don't like to be scared.
I don't either. And
Yeah.
when I worked in the prison, one of my coworkers at the time, her dad owned like a haunted house thing, and so every year we would go, and I went for the sake of like it's your coworkers and like coworker bonding and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Justin actually went with me one time, so he can attest to how like I literally screamed at everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
nothing would be happening, and I was like terrified, and like
Yeah.
they had volunteers be like come out and scare you. I almost punched one of them in the face. Like, I mean, I was ready to go. Like, I was ready.
No,
we
I
were gonna
don't.
throw down.
Yeah, I don't do those.
No,
Nope. No,
I
no.
don't like it. And in haunted houses in real life, no. Like, well, not like Halloween themed haunted, like a house that is haunted.
Right.
We've been to Salem, and then when we were out on the East Coast, we also went to the Lizzie Borden house, and the vibes,
Not good
were,
vibes. Bad vibes only.
Jackie was like, "We got to get the hell out of here!" Like
no.
this is some portal to something, and I'm not super religious in that way, but some vibe. I was like, "Nope, we gotta go. We got to go." So no.
Yikes.
I like.
Yeah, I don't. I'm very like pain adverse, so that includes emotional pain, which would be like fear. So I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
No.
I don't want it.
I'm here. Yeah.
The last one I have, we kind of talked about earlier, but pumpkin spice everything.
I would not say everything. I will go fine on this, but I do like pumpkin flavored stuff, and I don't really partake in any other time of the year of it. So
I agree. I mean, I would have to say fine. I mean, I'm not like we talked about pumpkin spice lattes. Like I'm not going out when it's there, and like I'll get one or two when it's festive, right? But,
Right.
You know, I do like pumpkin cookies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I like didn't have it, I wouldn't die.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it's yeah.
So.
I think if there's overkill nowadays, like I don't remember it being like this like 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
I do like pumpkin flavored stuff. I love pumpkin cake and pumpkin cookies, and I do like pumpkin coffee, like pumpkin flavored coffee, not like pumpkin spice lattes. But yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope you have a very spooky Halloween. Ooh.
Thanks for tuning in to the Halloween edition of
Halloween
Two
edition.
Tired Therapists.
Two Tired Therapists. On
Hopefully-
Two Tired Monday.
Right? Oh,
That doesn't work.
it's a Monday. I hate when people say that, but I say it all the time.
It's a
It's a
Monday.
Anyways,
Stay spooky.
stay spooky, kids.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.